It's easy to think that there's nothing to the expanse of the Sahara Desert, an arid land that receives little to no rain each month. Would you believe me if I told you that this seemingly endless landscape of sand holds many secrets? From 5,000-year-old skeletons to a valley of whales, here are the 20 strangest things found in the Sahara Desert. And if you like this kind of content, subscribe to our channel. It's free. Number 20. 5,000-year-old skeletons on a bed of flowers. In 2008, archaeologists discovered something unexpected in the expanse of the Sahara Desert: a small woman and 2 children, or rather what was left of them. The archaeologists discovered that the remains belonged to people who lived 5,000 years ago, when the Sahara was far from what it is today. Despite being in the middle of the desert, the burial was intimate. The slender arms of the 2 children were extended toward the woman in what seemed to be an eternal embrace. What surprised the archaeologists, however, was the bed of flowers beneath the skeletons. Although no traces of the flowers were found, there were traces of pollen on the skeletons, meaning that whoever buried them took the time to collect and create a bed of flowers. This also means that long ago, the Sahara Desert was once a lush landscape where flowers grew and thrived. The site contained evidence of 2 distinct cultures that had thrived in this once green Sahara. The older culture, known as the Kithian, were tall, robust hunter-fishermen, while the later Tenere people were smaller, with a more varied diet of hunting, fishing, and cattle herding. Number 19. 13,000-year-old bodies. About 13,000 years ago, on the edge of the Sahara, one of the oldest and most savage conflicts in human history occurred in what is now Jebel Sahaba in northern Sudan. Scientists believe that traces of the world's oldest organized human war are found here. Researchers accidentally stumbled upon this burial site filled with more than 60 skeletons. However, this was no ordinary burial. Many of the remains bore marks from flint-tipped arrows and other weapons, indicating that these people lost their lives in battle. The skeletons were found in the 1960s, but it wasn't until recently that we discovered the grim story behind them. Men, women, and even children were among the remains discovered in the mass grave. This conflict likely erupted during the Younger Dryas period, a severe climate recession that turned once green lands into desolate regions, forcing different groups to compete for increasingly scarce resources. As the Saharan environment dried out, humans turned to the Nile, one of the last viable sources of water. Number 18. The mysterious desert glass. Years ago, if you were walking through the Sahara Desert, you might have stumbled upon a strange piece of stone amongst the sand. This is one of the greatest mysteries on Earth: Libyan desert glass. This mysterious glass, with its vibrant yellow-green hue, is the product of cataclysmic events that occurred some 29 million years ago. Despite looking like an ordinary piece of yellowish glass, this material has cosmic origins. We have long wondered what created desert glass. Scientists debated its origins for decades, with some claiming that the material was created by a meteorite impacting Earth. In contrast, others suggest that it came from an explosion in the atmosphere when a meteorite disintegrated in mid-air. Either way, the conditions needed to create desert glass are caused by something otherworldly. After all, no event at the time could produce temperatures so high that they could melt zircon crystals into shapes like cubic zirconia, a synthetic gem that mimics diamonds. Furthermore, the mineral found in glass, rhyolite, can only form under immense pressure. It is no wonder that when the ancient Egyptians found this material, they recognized it as a gift from the heavens. The ancient Egyptians prized it, with King Tutankhamun himself wearing a scarab amulet carved from this very glass. It is a material that not only survived the immense force of its creation, but was also revered by one of the most influential civilizations in history. Number 17. Ancient giraffes, the largest known animal petroglyphs. If you look closely, you may find a treasure in the heart of the Sahara. The Tenere Desert in Niger is home to the most incredible examples of ancient rock art and the largest known animal petroglyphs in the world. Carved between 6,000 and 8,000 years ago during the African humid period, these petroglyphs depict the animals that early humans lived with, known as Dabous giraffes. These stone carvings depict an early species of giraffe. The largest giraffe is over 5.5 meters tall, and both are depicted in remarkable detail, displaying features such as spots, horns, and even eyelashes. Interestingly, each giraffe has a line etched from its mouth to a human figure, a motif that scholars suggest may symbolize a special connection between humans and animals, possibly hunting, communication, or even mythology. These giraffes are just two among hundreds of other engravings in the area, including depictions of cattle, lions, and even rhinos, all hinting at a time when the region was teeming with biodiversity. Number 16. A monstrous crocodile. In the vast arid expanses of the Sahara, paleontologists discovered an ancient giant, the Machimasaurus rex, a marine crocodile that lived over 130 million years ago. A crocodile in the Sahara? It may sound baffling, but then again, the Sahara we see today is nothing compared to what it once was. This formidable predator, unearthed in Tunisia, could grow up to 10 meters long and weigh over 2,700 kilograms, making it one of the largest marine crocodiles ever discovered. Its massive skull, over 1.5 meters long, was packed with rounded, bone-crushing teeth, perfectly suited for hunting tough prey like sea turtles and large fish. The Machimasaurus rex deserves to be known as one of the most formidable creatures to ever live on the planet, having survived the mass extinction event that wiped out many other species around the Jurassic-Cretaceous boundary. It is a unique survivor in a time of great environmental upheaval. This crocodile thrived in the shallow seas that once separated Africa from Europe, an apex predator that ruled the waters in a world dominated by dinosaurs. Although most crocodiles today are nowhere near the size of Machimasaurus rex, this species is still closely related to its modern relatives. Number 15. Abandoned libraries of the Sahara. In the remote regions of the Sahara Desert lies the ancient city of Chinguetti. At first glance, you might think this place is nothing more than a community slowly being devoured by the sands of time. However, Chinguetti is also known as the City of Libraries, home to some of the oldest and most valuable manuscripts in Islam. Hundreds of years ago, this place was a bustling center of Islamic scholarship, its dusty streets filled with pilgrims and scholars. Founded in the 13th century, Chinguetti was a hub for trade caravans and pilgrims on their way to Mecca. Its libraries, once numbering as many as 30, housed texts on religion, science, astronomy, and law, some dating back to the 9th century. These priceless manuscripts, many written on gazelle skin, are preserved by a handful of dedicated families who have passed the role of caretakers from generation to generation. Today, however, it faces a battle with the sands of the Sahara, which threaten to bury this city under dunes that shift and grow with each passing year. Despite the efforts of the library's custodians, the city has seen many of its libraries abandoned as its population dwindled due to droughts and the harsh environment. Number 14. One of the most beautiful and deadly birds. With its long legs, long eyelashes, and red face, it is impossible not to consider the secretary bird one of the most beautiful birds on the planet. Standing up to 1.2 meters tall and with long crane-like legs, the secretary bird rules the African savannas, mainly in the sub-Saharan regions. Now, there is a lot to unpack about these birds. First, you are probably wondering about its name. There are two main theories as to why this bird is called this. The first suggests that its crest of black feathers resembles the writing quills that secretaries used to tuck behind their ears. The other, more aptly, connects it to the Arabic term sakr at-tayr, which means hunting bird. The latter theory makes more sense. The way these birds hunt is incredibly amazing. Unlike most birds of prey that swoop down from the sky, the secretary bird hunts on foot, stomping its prey with powerful kicks. In fact, it can deliver blows strong enough to take down venomous snakes, such as cobras and black mambas, with a force 5 times its body weight. Despite their height, secretary birds are incredibly light and agile, weighing just 2.3-4.5 kg, which helps them cover over 18 kilometers a day. These birds are fierce and territorial, using their stamina to ensure their territories are safe. When they do decide to fly, their wingspan reaches an impressive 2.1 meters, and although they are not as agile, they are still skilled flyers. Number 13. Lost Fortresses of the Sahara. In 2011, satellites revealed lost and forgotten fortresses in the Sahara. Thanks to satellite imaging technology, over 100 fortress-like settlements hidden beneath the sands of the Sahara in southwestern Libya were revealed and rediscovered. Dating from around 1 to 500 AD, these ancient structures were part of the Garamanti civilization, a people whose history is often shrouded in mystery. The Garamantes ruled for nearly 1,000 years, and yet we don't know much about them. We know enough to consider them one of the greatest civilizations in the region. They were known to have advanced knowledge of metallurgy, agriculture, and even water management in one of the most inhospitable environments on Earth. More than a millennium ago, they used fagaras, intricate underground canals, to create lush oases in the desert, allowing them to farm and establish trade routes across the Sahara. Number 12. The Sahara fertilizes the Amazon rainforest with 182 million tons of dust. Here's a discovery that proves just how amazing planet Earth is. Let's talk about the Amazon rainforest. Although it's a thriving ecosystem, the Amazon rainforest lacks phosphorus, one of the most essential nutrients on Earth. Yet somehow, the rainforest receives nutrients from the Sahara Desert. Yes, you heard right. It's hard to imagine, but without the nutrients from the sands of the Sahara, a region almost devoid of life, the Amazon would not flourish so much. Every year, 182 million tons of dust from the Sahara Desert are carried by winds more than 4,800 kilometers across the Atlantic Ocean, fertilizing the Amazon rainforest in South America. Thanks to NASA's Calypso satellite, scientists have captured detailed 3D images that reveal how this massive river of dust makes its long journey, carrying essential nutrients like phosphorus to one of the most biodiverse ecosystems on the planet. The rainforest soil is notoriously nutrient poor, with heavy rainfall washing away much of the phosphorus. However, Saharan dust helps replenish this loss, providing around 22,000 tons of phosphorus each year. This nutrient is crucial for plant growth and allows the Amazon to maintain its lush vegetation. Who would have thought that the world's largest desert and largest rainforest would be connected? Number 11. An ancient hidden river. About 5,000 years ago, the Sahara Desert was not the vast, arid landscape we know today. Thanks to a network of long-lost rivers, it was actually a thriving hub of life, teeming with plants, animals, and even human populations. Yes, you heard right. There was once a network of rivers running across the expanse of the Sahara. Looking at the desert now, it's hard to believe this was the case. This now-buried river system, known as the Tamanrasset River, was recently revealed through satellite technology, which detected ancient channels beneath the desert sands. Stretching approximately 520 kilometers across Western Sahara, this network likely supported lush vegetation and large wetlands, creating a fertile oasis in the middle of what is now one of the harshest environments on Earth. The existence of these rivers is connected to what scientists call the African Humid Period, a time when the Sahara was much wetter due to changes in the Earth's climate cycles. Monsoon rains fed these rivers, transforming the desert into a vibrant savanna. Evidence suggests that large lagoons, possibly as vast as 70,000 square kilometers, dotted the landscape, allowing diverse species to thrive, including ancient humans who may have migrated along these natural pathways from sub-Saharan Africa to the Mediterranean coast. Number 10. The Holy Grail of Dinosaur Fossils. In the Egyptian Sahara, researchers have discovered what they consider the holy grail of dinosaur fossils, Mansurosaurus shahinai, a newly discovered species of titanosaur. This long-necked, bus-sized dinosaur roamed the Sahara about 80 million years ago during the late Cretaceous period, a time when Africa was thought to be isolated from other land masses. The existence of this fossil challenges assumptions that Africa was isolated from other continents. The fossils were incredibly well preserved, and its skull, vertebrae, and bone plates, which are not usually found, were found completely intact. Paleontologists determined that this titanosaur was more closely related to dinosaurs found in Europe and Asia than to its African cousins. meaning that there was still some migration or contact between continents, despite the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea millions of years earlier. Mansurosaurus was the gentle giant of the dinosaur world, with 4 tree-trunk-like legs and a long, graceful neck. It weighed as much as an African elephant and could reach the length of a school bus. Although it was unremarkable in size, at least compared to other dinosaurs, its discovery fills a huge gap in our understanding of dinosaur evolution in Africa. Number 9. The fog chasers. Did you know that people in the desert catch fog? Known as fog chasers, people in the Sahara use giant nets strung between poles to catch fog, especially in the mountainous regions of Morocco. Through these simple tools, people in harsh environments collect thousands of gallons of fresh, clean water daily for hundreds of people. But how does this work? When cold Atlantic fog meets the anti-Atlas Mountains, specially designed nets trap the moisture. Droplets condense and roll down the mesh, being collected in containers. From there, they travel through pipes to local villages. The NGO Dar Si Hamad initially launched this project, and it has transformed the lives of more than 15 villages, eliminating the need for long, dangerous journeys to fetch water. Initially, locals expressed opposition. After all, most mountain communities saw fog as a nuisance that blocked rain. With time and education, however, locals have adopted this method and, on a good day, can harvest up to 5,000 gallons of water using these nets. Now, not only do families have access to water, but they also save hours each day, time that is now spent on work or education. Number 8. A carpet of stone tools. Recently, archaeologists from the University of Cambridge have discovered what may be the oldest known human landscape, a vast land covered in stone tools. This carpet of man-made tools stretches across the Mesak Setafet escarpment in southern Libya. When archaeologists found this region, many could not believe their eyes because of the sheer number of stone tools left in the area, around 7 stone tools in a single square foot. This means that long ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, before modern humans thrived, our predecessors transformed the entire landscape. The tools were likely used by hominids, including our earliest ancestors, for activities such as cutting, hunting, and possibly even gathering. Some tools are simple flakes chipped off stones, while others show more sophisticated craftsmanship, such as those used to precisely split rocks. The Mesak sandstone provided excellent material for toolmaking, and the area is thought to have been a magnet for early hominin populations attracted by the abundant stone resources. Number 7. A meteorite that confirms water on Mars. In 2020, researchers discovered a Martian meteorite in the Sahara Desert. Not only is this piece of rock 4.4 billion years old, but it may also confirm the existence of water on the Martian planet. Known as NWA 7533, this meteorite was ejected from Mars during a collision and eventually landed on Earth, where scientists have now analyzed its fragments. By studying the meteorite, researchers identified minerals that could only form in the presence of water, meaning that Mars had liquid water much earlier than previously thought. The meteorite contains clasts, rocks that were formed by impacts and oxidation processes that typically involve water. This is enough to prove that Mars was once a much wetter planet. Do you know what that means? There is a more substantial chance that life, even the tiniest form of life, existed on the planet. Number 6. The Valley of the Whales. Deep in the heart of Egypt lies the Valley of the Whales, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for the extraordinary whale fossils in its area. The site contains over 1,500 fossilized skeletons of ancient whales, including the Basilosaurus, which could reach lengths of up to nearly 18 meters, and the smaller Dorodon. These creatures still retain vestigial hind limbs, a clear marker of their terrestrial ancestry, which is not found in modern whales. This means that these whales still had rudimentary hind limbs, with emphasis on the word rudimentary. Although these limbs resemble those of a seal, they were completely useless for any kind of terrestrial locomotion. In fact, they were also pretty useless underwater, as they did not provide the Basilosaurus with any advantage while swimming. It is pretty obvious why the Basilosaurus eventually lost its hind limbs. Scientists believe these well-preserved fossils date back 40 to 41 million years, making them the most complete specimens ever discovered and among the oldest. Number 5. The first known aquatic dinosaur, Spinosaurus, is the first known aquatic dinosaur. You might think its fossils would be found near bodies of water, but its remains were found in the middle of the Saharan expanse. Spinosaurus is one of the most extraordinary dinosaurs ever discovered in the heart of the Sahara Desert. Unlike the more familiar Tyrannosaurus rex, Spinosaurus was the first known swimming dinosaur, a predator that thrived both in the water and on land during the Cretaceous period. About 100 million years ago, it was a large creature, growing up to 15 meters long. It had a sail on its back and a long, crocodile-like snout filled with conical teeth ideal for catching fish. Its most innovative feature, however, is its paddle-shaped tail, which scientists have confirmed was built for swimming. This flat, flipper-like tail allowed Spinosaurus to generate impressive momentum in the water, making it a highly efficient predator in the vast river systems that once flowed through what is now the Sahara. Imagine a crocodile, but more capable and more monstrous. Number 4. The Sahara was once the most dangerous place in Earth's history. About 100 million years ago, the Sahara Desert was not the barren, desolate place we know today. Not only was it a lush grassland, but it was also among the most dangerous places on Earth during the Cretaceous period. Scientists believe that the Sahara was filled with deadly creatures, some of which I've already mentioned, from the Spinosaurus, which was at the top of the food chain, to the Basilosaurus. The Sahara was filled with capable predators. Other predators included the serrated-toothed Carcharodontosaurus and the Deltadromeus, a fast and agile hunter. These creatures roamed alongside huge crocodile-like reptiles, making the land as treacherous as the water. As if these creatures weren't enough, pterosaurs filled the desert skies. This combination of land, water, and air predators made the region exceptionally deadly. Can you imagine surviving in the wilderness of the Sahara millions of years ago? There would be no time to rest. Number 3. Sandcats native to the arid deserts of North Africa, the Middle East, and Central Asia. The sandcat is the only species of feline that lives exclusively in deserts. I know what you're thinking, and no, unfortunately, you can't take one of these home. This is the only creature where the young simply look like a smaller version of the adults. Adult sandcats still look like kittens to me. Don't be fooled by their size and appearance, though. Growing up to 15 to 20 inches long, these creatures are fierce hunters with large, low-set ears that help them detect prey moving underground. To help combat the desert heat, they are equipped with furry paws, with their fur acting as natural pads for insulation. This fur protects the cat from both hot and cold desert temperatures, from 120 degrees Fahrenheit to sub-zero temperatures. These adorable creatures spend their days resting in cool underground burrows to escape the intense heat and become active hunters at night. Their diet includes small rodents, lizards, insects, and even venomous snakes, which they take down without fear. Have you ever wondered why your domestic cat just won't drink water? It's because your cat evolved from these desert dwellers. Although your domestic cat is thirstier than the sandcat, both felines have little motivation to drink, so your cat isn't stubborn. It's because being a lazy drinker is part of your cat's genes. Number 2. The gerbil. You are looking at one of the residents of the Sahara Desert, the gerbil. These creatures look like a mix of different animals, with their kangaroo-like hind legs, bunny ears, and a tail longer than their entire body. This is why many often do a double take upon seeing them. As small as they are, growing only up to 10 centimeters, these little rodents are known for their powerful hind legs that can cover up to 3 meters in a single leap. This jumping ability is useful for quickly escaping predators like owls, foxes, and snakes, and for efficiently moving through the hot desert sand. Much like sandcats, these little rodents don't need much water to survive in the desert. In fact, this creature doesn't need water at all. Instead, they get all the hydration they need from the food they eat, like desert plants and insects, allowing them to live their entire lives without drinking a drop of water. When temperatures rise during the day, the gerbil keeps cool by burrowing underground, where it spends most of the day resting in the shade. The gerbil may be small, but it is one of the desert's most resilient and adaptable creatures. And now it's time for today's topic. What scientists just discovered beneath the sands of the Sahara Desert is shocking the entire world. For centuries, the Sahara Desert has been known as a desolate place, home to only a few creatures, and yet recent discoveries suggest otherwise. With the Sahara being a lush grassland teeming with life in the past, could it be that there are more thriving civilizations buried beneath its sands? And could this newly discovered structure be evidence of their advanced technology, long forgotten and buried? Details remain scarce, but some believe that with the Sahara Desert's millions of years of history, it's possible that beneath this region are remnants of an ancient culture that predates even the oldest known societies in North Africa. Artifacts, cave paintings, and architectural ruins have already been discovered throughout the region, pointing to human activity dating back thousands of years. Still, the desert is vast, and many believe only a fraction of its history has been revealed. Number 1. WWWT Wreckage. In 2012, we discovered one of the most unexpected finds in the Sahara Desert, a WWI-era fighter plane, notably an RAF Kitty Hawk P-40. In June 1942, this plane was being flown by Flight Sergeant Dennis Copping during the North African campaign when it went missing. Copping had been ferrying the damaged plane for repairs between airfields in Egypt when something went wrong, forcing him to make an emergency landing in the vast and unforgiving desert. No one expected that decades later the plane would be found largely intact, with its instruments, ammunition, and even parts of its structure remarkably well preserved. Its excellent preservation led to this plane being considered the aviation equivalent of Tutankhamun's tomb. Unfortunately, Copping's whereabouts were never found. Evidence from the site suggests that Copping survived the crash and attempted to leave the desert carrying essential supplies with him. Tragically, he was never found and is believed to have perished while trying to reach safety. Who would have thought that a seemingly barren land would hold so many secrets? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more amazing stories like this one. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.